Hello. Hello. Hi. Uh, well, this is my first stream. Welcome to Astral Mushroom. It's me, Starlight. I do not know if anyone's ever going to be watching this, but hey, okay. The point of this stream is I'm mostly just trying to figure stuff out. I have no idea how things work around here. I'm just, yeah. So this is my first time streaming ever. I probably won't ever have any viewers. I don't know how to get viewers. I don't know how many people's gonna notice the stream, but hey, if they notice, it's cool. Uh, but yeah, the main purpose of this stream is kind of just to gather my footage, I suppose. I'm just gonna record myself, trying to get something done and try to be entertaining, and then chop it down into a video. If you know, sounds like a good idea, isn't it? Or at least I can use it as B-roll. So there's no one around, but in case someone ever tries rewatching this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna be drawing, but specifically, I'm not gonna be specifically. I'm gonna be designing a character. A characters, background characters. Okay, so me and the author were working on a comic together, and this is a very useful software called PureF. Okay, it's really good for like showing the references you have. Now, in this right here, this amazing, this amazing flamboyant cat man. This is the main character of our comic, Aldo. He is a Callian. Well, if it were D&D terms, Tabaxi would be, but in our setting, we kind of have our own lore. So this is a Callian. So the comic starts off in a Callian city. So because it starts off in a Callian city, we one of the most important things we kind of need, especially for this particular chapter of the comic which I'm trying to draw, I need guards. Okay, so for the Callian guards, and the Callian are vaguely Italian, not really Italian per se, but vaguely Italian. Sort of the same way where some fantasy things are vaguely this, vaguely that. So I've been looking up Italian gods, okay, and I found this picture, and I just think it looks really cool. I like it. It's nice. It's colorful. So this is kind of my plan. I'm gonna be making this like, well, not this one to one, but very heavily inspired by this. Okay, so we got this, but set for Callian, and the author has given me one note in particular. The helmet is supposed to look like a like this, almost like this giant inverted bowl. And yeah, let's see how it goes, right? Could be interesting, could be interesting. Hmm. Okay, so with PRF, I'm just going to be putting things aside here and there. Putting the helmet over here in the corner, it's not really needed that much. So the first main thing is these guards are going to be Callian, just like the main character. I'm not going to be like designing any particular guard per se, but I do have to at least get the basic shapes out. So because of how Callian are, okay, I'm going to be first step. I'm going to design the head. Okay, the head is going to be following the same kind of principles as the main character. Uh, if so, I'm going to go with here. We got the head first. We got the snout. this should roughly this should be roughly right, plus, whatever the ears would be. It's gonna be slightly different based on the type of cat it is, but I'm vaguely designing it based on the main character. Okay? This is just the head, essentially. You don't need to worry too much about the smaller details. We'll kind of change it, like if a particular guard needs a bit of a change, you can just do that. I'm just trying to design the overall look right now. But for that, I do need like a fairly clean base of just like, okay, this is what a Callian looks like, There's their head shape. I need to actually make it fit. Okay, and I think this would kind of work for a basic like side view of the head. Okay. Now, let's try going for a front view. Now, this doesn't have to match up 100%, okay? We're not making like something for a 3D model, okay? If you're making a reference sheet for 3D model, then it needs to be very, very precise, Or at the very least, like the differences have to be fairly insignificant, where you can just like figure it out on your own. Let's move up a tiny bit, down a tiny bit, you know. But I'm not doing that right now. I'm doing that just more for me to be able to look at later and be like, oh, that's what I was drawing. And so just put the nose roughly in about the same place. Just gonna mark with a bit of like shadow or whatnot where, you know, this the bridge of the nose would be. That's what you call it. Go again, put the eyes in. Oh, and like that, we have the basic shape of the Callian. I will be taking this though and overall just expanding a little bit because, yeah, now the scale matches. Right. So now we have the head, at least the basic head. So I'll reduce the opacity a little bit. I'm gonna just mark that, okay, our head. Okay. Then I'm gonna make. Actually, you know what? No, this is what I'm gonna do. Keep the head over there. Copy paste the layer, duplicate the layer, move it down a little bit, okay? Now reduce the opacity. On a new layer, I'm gonna keep the R helmet, right? So here's the thing. Because of this is what the helmet's supposed to look like, right? So what I decided is I'm gonna try figuring out the helmet first, before anything else, just because what on earth is this? All I can know is I can recognize just from the rough. It's just from the background. I know. Oh, Kenshi. The author did tell me it is a mod, but I'm not entirely certain what or not I'm looking at. To be honest, do you think I should go just like, oh, he's got like this thing going on, right? Or should I actually go to full force? I think he might appreciate if I just go all the way. Just make it ridiculous, right? Why not? Oh, I love it. These are gonna be ridiculous town guard. And then let's just keep a bit of a bump over here if they want to put that. If they want to like put just for that ear, not enough, but it's just something to just pad it out a little bit. And let's see, scale up, squish, move things around a little bit, and bring this around. And now then, like from the back, what do you think from the back? Do you think it's gonna look kind of like a mushroom? Maybe. And let's see, the eye socket. There we go. The eye holes. Oh, don't know why that window randomly popped up. Okay, so it is. If I just delete that right now, move this a little bit lower. This is fairly terrifying. I'm not entirely sure this is what exactly he asked for, but yeah, it's a bit terrifying. Hmm. Okay, right. So next thing, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just try designing the same thing for the front because yeah, I should. Don't worry. I don't know how long this stream's gonna be. It probably isn't gonna be too long. I might want to just start up a new stream later. Uh, After I at least find someone who might want to watch it. But yeah. Okay, so now let's see. So we're drawing the same helmet, okay? As best as I can, facing forward this time. Again, we just kind of want it in at least front and side. If we can have it in many angles, it's very useful. But at least front and side, you know, if I can get in those two angles, I'm sort of good, right? Just remember that this is like supposed to be roughly even. It doesn't have to be exact. Remember that it doesn't have to be exact, but the closer the better. That's just kind of how that usually works. And roughly like that. Roughly like that. Now then, one. Okay, right. So I do have to say, looking at this once again from the front, this is still terrifying. I am I am going to need I'm gonna need to sort this out later. Oh, oh yeah. Anyway, yeah, I can talk it out with the author later, or what I can do next is I can at least try to figure out the rest of the armor and then come back to this. I think that might be a good idea. So let's just start with here, the basic shape. We got Aldo here. And let's just basically aim for his basic shape. Let's go. Yeah, I would recommend, like, if you're gonna draw stuff like this, you know, a reference would be better. Like, if you don't have a reference, it's probably going to take a bit. It's probably, you know, it'll take a bit longer with trial and error till you feel right, or you know, there's a chance that you might screw something up. It's, you know, it's always better to just have a reference. Just, you know, because it's better. It it really helps, you know. Like us as humans, for the most part, you know, we're we're good at recognizing shapes, but not exactly remembering them, especially for, you know, people like me who I'm not particularly good at anything, right? I've only somehow gotten like okay at drawing. But thing is, like, we as humans don't don't fully remember a shape. Like if you just like it's I've seen a video of this also before. Like if you ask someone, okay, if they know what a cat looks like, they'd say yeah. If you ask them to draw a cat, chances are they wouldn't be able to draw it perfectly, uh, because they kind of blank when they try actually starting to draw it. Now I know if you maybe there's a few people out there who are like, oh no, I can draw a cat always perfectly, anything you ask me to. You know, I've never had any trouble like that. But yeah, that's the exception. Most people just on average, like if you're asked to draw something like a bicycle, you might screw up. It This is why like practice makes perfect, is because when you practice you actually learn the shape. Okay, but otherwise humans recognize shapes, but they're not great at like just learning shapes. They don't. I mean, that's just not how they work. You know, because, and so basically, it's like yeah, it's always worthwhile to just have a reference, even just a shitty stick figure. You know, it could work as long as the proportions are right. You know, you just gotta look back, refer to it, be like, oh, are those proportions right? Yeah, the proportions are right. You know, because people like you always make mistakes, even if you like practice a lot. Like I have years and years of practice. Okay, like I've been learning to draw for well over half a decade, 7 years, something. Yeah, I know, which to some people is not a long amount of time, but to me that's a lot of time. Huh? I've been doodling my whole life, but you know, actually earnestly trying to draw that. Yeah, that's been going on for like that's been going on for just a almost a decade, 7.5 years. I couldn't tell you exactly when, but yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I've got now just the basic, like the body done by this point. Uh, Now what I want to do is I'm gonna just save this. There probably shouldn't be too much of a difference between male and female armor, right? I might do that, just having a male and female. I might be trying to draw it on both a male and female, but there shouldn't be much difference. You know, if there's any difference, it'd just be like, oh, I gotta remember that this part is a bit longer or something like that. Just whatever based on needs. So first off, gonna keep the bare body as one layer, then another layer. Let's go with that. I'm going to there. So there's more than one way you can go about doing this. Okay, so you could either just try drawing on this one layer itself, as in you could just erase, draw, or you could lower the transparency, start drawing on a new layer. So there's like pros and cons to everything, okay? I like doing both methods, honestly, but I think I might just do the working on one flat layer itself this time around, just for the roughs. Just for the roughs, okay? So I like the cuff, the collar thing. So I'm gonna be putting that. Okay. So here we go. Let's start with having that collar in. I like that. I really do like collar a lot. I like collars. Collars are pretty good, especially when it's like not just that basic collar. When the collar that looks pretty nice, like a fairly big collar. So next, I do want so considering that this is a fantasy comic, I might want to like maybe exaggerate a little bit more like armor wiser. So let's start with the belt because I really like that the sideways tilted belt. Okay, but from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try getting this bottom bit blown out a bit more. Maybe add a little bit of like this puffiness right here, where the belt will hold on to it, right? So there'll be a little bit of like pull at the belt. So the clothes will get tucked into the belt a bit, but they're not going to be like, oh, from the belt, it's not going to go like poof, poof, right? Because it's not like some kind of tutu or whatnot. There will be a bit of puff outwards, right where the belt will end, but that will be going back to retain its shape because that's just kind of how it works. Like when you draw and you add the belt, and what happens is you add a depression and you add a little bit of like this. I'm pretty sure you understand that basic idea. You've probably seen it a whole bunch, right? Like especially in anime characters or whatnot, right? If they wear socks or something, if they want to show like a tight socks or something like that, it's just meant to like show a bit of softness, right? That it's like not a solid object. So for cloth also it'll be roughly the same except it's like if it's hard pressed or something. So now I'm gonna add in armor. So the way how I'm gonna go about this is I'm going to follow this rough pattern, okay, of just like like the V coming in, but I'm going to try to figure out some way to turn that itself into the armor, right? So add a line here, uh, that, that, roughly like this, and here also the and it comes down to here, right? About the navel, the belly button, whatnot. At this point, honestly, I should be looking at some references of actual armor, but I'm not. I guess I'm gonna call this a challenge, right? References are good, but sometimes you just kind of want to mess around. You know, you want to mess around, you want to find out, and that's what I want to do right now. If I screw, because if I screw up, I can always just I can at least have. I would have probably designed at least something by the time I figure out. Oh no, it's all done. It's wrong. It's all wrong, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna design whatever I can, right? And I'm gonna take like inspiration at least from my own design if I feel like I need to, refer to some actual proper armor. So yeah, I'm thinking it's no. I'm gonna remove this little piece here in the center. I don't know why. I guess it just feels kind of like it's changing the armor, right? It's making it look like it's a female armor rather than just a non-gendered armor. So I'm gonna just mess with these stripes a little bit. Maybe add some more bulk with the V. I feel like that could work. Add more bulk with the V. Make it like segmented. Oh, yeah, that could be good. This could be okay. Uh, now then, where am I? Here, right? On this side, I'm going to just try following the exact same patterns. And remove some of this. Remove the arms inside. This doesn't look that bad. Hmm. And a little bit of like metal armbands, something like that around here. I think that could work. Let's try adding a little. We do something to add like a little bit of look of metal on it. I'm not entirely sure. These pauldrons. Hold up, just give me 1 second. Okay, right. So I'm not 100% sure what exactly do for the pauldrons, but I figure first thing first, let's work on the pants, right? Let's work on the pants, just make it look a bit better. Uh, I say look a bit better. I don't mean make the pants look a little better. Actually, you know what? Looking pretty cool. Kind of cute. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna move this aside for right now. You know. Now I'm gonna come back here, and specifically, if I make these baggy pants, I want. I don't. I want to make the entire outfit feel a bit better. So again, every single individual piece will affect the outfit in the end of the day. So you could ideally change the entire feel of the outfit just by how you draw the pants. I'm gonna hope that I'm able to do something like that. And let's see. hmm I don't know. I think it's coming out all right. I might be screwing up a little bit. I felt like it was pretty good for a moment there. And hmm, close, close, not quite. I screwed up somewhere here. Change this side. Okay. Okay. This looks like it could. Now then, let's just add in a few more details down here, really quick. Okay, what are your thoughts? I'm thinking this is looking a lot better. Like here, uh, it looks already like just quite different, doesn't it? Like what I first started making. Okay, when I looked at it, I just thought, that does look like a quite feminine outfit, honestly. Just because I tried to get a bit more stylish about it, but looking at it with those big ass pants, it's like, yeah, that looks like it could be like either gender. It's not particularly limited, and I do like that a lot more. I'm gonna be saving this as a second version. Just another layer. Let's go have this another layer, and now let's just add a bit more like bulk to it. Not bulk quite yet, but basically I want to just mess around with the arms a bit now. Let's see how it goes. Okay, right, right. So far, okay. So far, okay. Now, same for the feet. So far, okay. Yeah. Uh, I guess calling it bulk was very much the wrong word to use. Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try making it bulky, but I just wanted to make, these little bits over here. Like this guy's got on his, like, he's got his cuffs, he's got those boots. I wanted to make it look a bit more like that. So I'm going to move these things around a little bit more. One more step, okay? I'm going to copy this one more time, move it to the side. So basically, I'm just working on a different version now. Actually, I keep this guy all the way on the left, so it looks like, okay, here, base, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Yeah, I think that could work. So for this step, I'm gonna add a helmet in. Okay, I'm gonna add this monstrous helmet in, and we're gonna have to see how it works, right? So I'm gonna maybe see about making a few changes to the helmet. Like I might want to start the helmet down inside the cuff itself. That might work. That might be a good idea. And maybe let's not make the salad bowl too salad bowl, right? Yeah, I feel like this might work, right? It's very close to the actual size of the face. We know exactly where the eyes are, so let's add in these, the parts in the visor, right? Let's add in the eye holes roughly where we know what the eyes are. A little bit down here also, because just so that when he speaks it's clearer to hear. Because remember, these are gods. They are heavily armored, but they're meant to be understandable because they need to talk. I will also keep like a little bump here, right? And a bump here for the ears. I think that might work, right? I think that looks pretty good. And now let's add in pauldrons. Pauldrons? Let's do that. But how much pauldron do you think, right? How much pauldron do you think I should be adding in? I know I moved it as another file. I don't know why, but I just thought it looked really cool. And so I just wanted to make it a different file. So let's go. Um, should I look up an Italian pauldron? Well, there's no one here, so I guess what do you think, Mr. Invisible Chat? Should I go with like a big stylish pauldron? Something a bit less so? Should I look up an Italian pauldron? Maybe not. I'll just go along with whatever I can, right? So let's take a look. I'm not gonna go with the Kenshi pauldron quiet, right? But I'm gonna go a bit like I don't know what would match it, honestly. I'm kind of clueless. Like I love armor, right? I think armor's pretty badass. I love it. I'm an idiot when it comes to actually drawing that stuff. I usually have to just look at a whole bunch of references and just try to figure it out from there. So I'm going to try my best. And I feel like I'm probably not going to make a. Again, I've watched a bunch of videos on, like, especially Shadowversity or whatnot. So I do know that designing an overly big pauldron is not helpful at all, right? It's just going to cause problems, especially if you do an extra spiky pauldron. Because sometimes, the way how you do spiky pauldrons or whatnot over the top design, it could just stab them. So I'm going to keep it fairly light, and I think that's good. And then if I just like add in a little bit of yeah, I think this is good. Oh, I've also just completely forgotten. Uh, they are cat people, so they'll have tails. But yeah, the tail doesn't matter too much, honestly, because it's not like Callians are like it's not like Callians are just one particular cat person, right? The Callian actually has yeah. So the Callian is kind of just the term, right? For the that particular kind of beast person. Okay? Like say for example, Tabaxi in Dungeons and Dragons 5e, right? So those Tabaxi, you could make any kind of a cat, right? Just because it's a tabaxi doesn't mean, oh, this is exactly what it looks like. It could be like a tiger tabaxi. It could be like a Toby? Toby. Toby? A Toby cat. It could look like a Toby cat. You know? The tabaxi. Okay, so same way over here, what we've got is these Callian. They can basically be of any particular kind. So Aldo is like this spot. He's got these cow spots. Other people will have like their own different thing going on. So I'm drawing in a tail over here, but it's not like, oh, this is what a god is going to look like. But yeah, I think I got it. So this one, first attempt screwed up, but this is what the great thing is. You make one attempt, then you make a second attempt, and the second one, I think this looks pretty badass. What do you think? Like that is hot. Like that is good stuff. Yeah, and it's also completely androgynous armor. So the only difference would be between a male and female, I suppose. I'm just going to delete that stuff because I don't like it. So let me just copy paste this just one more time. Uh, I guess it would completely just based on body shape, right? And the difference between male and female would entirely just be like this. We wouldn't, it would just be in the sides mostly, right? Male, female, fat, thin. The actual base of the armor wouldn't change too much. Maybe just this area would expand, would properly like bend width the rest of the out would bend a bit. But yeah, there's not if the proportions are the same, there'd be very minimal difference between male female. It's just a matter of physical characteristics. If you're drawing a fat cat, well, we're obviously going to have to bend the armor around that particular character. If you're making a thin cat, then it's gonna be basically kind of similar to this. Okay. Anyway, thanks for well, hmm. Well, thanks for being there. Thanks for seeing this. I had fun. I hope watching this back, or if someone ever comes across this, they find it entertaining. But yeah, this is basically what my end result has been for designing the background, designing the NPC, right? NPC. I'm stupid. Designing the town guard for our comic. I think it came out great. Look, this versus this. This is the powerful reference. It doesn't look like a copy, does it? No, I've tried my best to change as much as I can. And this is what I've come up with. I'm pretty proud of it. Anyway, thanks for being there. Bye bye.